there is something in our life that we can never avoid. And it's called conflicts. Inevitable. I mean, if you're with people, conflicts are bound to happen sooner or later, isn't it? So we have our style of dealing with conflicts. And whatever style you have, it has certain consequences. Now, you may be a turtle who, just goes away from the conflict situation, who gives up the relationship and the goals. Just know that in a conflict situation, there is a clash between, there is a relationship and there is a goal, and both these things are very, very important. Then there is a teddy bear kind of a person who says, okay, you do what you want, you have what you want, but we should maintain our relationship. Then there is a shark who says, whatever I say is right, you better listen to me. I don't care about the relationship. It is going to be my way or the highway. And then, of course, there's another one, I call it the fox, who is a very compromising person. So neither party gets 100%, both are compromising. And then there is a superior kind of person who I call as the owl, who really believes in win-win, who believes that a conflict should be addressed so that it can make the relationship even better. Okay, so a conflict is not a clash of people. It is a clash of unfulfilled expectations, unmet needs. It is a clash of unexpressed emotions, unspoken expectations. That's when this upset or a conflict happens. So it happens when your egos collide with one another, two strong egos, both become sharks. Or if the minds are closed, they don't want to hear anything, they just want to be right. Conflict becomes even more painful when reactivity arises. Reactivity dominates. Both are reacting in anger or in fear or in sadness, whatever. And in this situation, listening completely stops. Emotions completely overwhelm you. All the past wounds, hurts get activated. Now, I'm going to talk about a heart-centered conflict resolution method. It's an art, actually. And mastery of this art will be of great benefit to all of us. So, the heart-centered conflict resolution is the art of pausing. First, pausing, I always say pause, raise your awareness. Second is really understanding the situation, understanding the other person's point of view. Then softening up. If you're worked up, you're agitated or angry or whatever, soften up, cool down. And then really start listening. And then learn to respond consciously. Remember one thing, guys, conflict does not destroy relationships. Disconnection does. Now, like everything, doing things consciously, very, very useful. So why is conscious conflict management skill important? So when you handle a conflict consciously, resentment does not accumulate. So imagine if you've been a teddy bear and always, bowing down to the other person and saying, oh, what to do? I have to maintain the relationship. What do you think is happening inside? Resentment will be building. If somebody is behaving like a shark with you, dominating you, being rude to you, etc., and you don't say anything because things will become worse, then also resentment will be building up, isn't it? And in wrong kind of conflict management, emotional distance can happen. But if you manage conflicts consciously, emotional distancing will not happen. If you manage your conflicts properly, trust will become stronger, communication will become clearer. If you manage conflicts properly, respect will grow. It will not come down. And all your misunderstandings will go away. So, here's something to keep in mind: your relationship is not tested in the good moments of our life, it is tested by how you handle the difficult moments in your life. The conflict is certainly a very difficult moment, okay? Conflict, disagreements that we have with people. Yeah. You might have noticed that small disagreements can turn into a conflict, or we treat a small disagreement as a major conflict. Huh? So, what are the roots of every conflict? Three of them basically. The first one is that you are not matched emotionally, the emotional mismatch. One person always feel that I am not being heard, I am not being noticed, and the person feels that I am being misunderstood or I am not being supported. That's a mismatch of conflict. So most conflicts, almost all conflicts are emotional, not logical. If we were to handle situations logically, maybe 80 or 90% of conflicts would not happen. Now, the second root cause of conflict is unclear boundaries or expectations. So it's like what you expect and what the other person assumes. Big problem. See, in my first job, or rather in my second job, my boss was my immediate boss, with whom I thought I was being very respectful and all that, but he was trying his best to put me down and very rude to me, troubling me, or what. I just said I failed. Luckily, my big boss appreciated my work, so nothing happened to me. Now, I met this guy many, many years after. We were on a flight sitting next to one another and we got to talk. And I asked him, why were you like that? And you are a very arrogant fellow. I said, why? What did I do? Are don't you know how to be respectful? I said, but I was talking to you respectfully. What do you think? He says, Angrezi bolte ho. Now, what was his expectation? Respectful means junior hai, he should talk to me in Hindi. Yeah. What I'm expecting that I am being, what shall I say, very respectful and polite and everything. Other person is assuming that behavior to be arrogant behavior. Okay? So that's the perception mismatch which is going on. Now, there are examples of unclear boundaries also. Like sometimes, you say something and the other fellow is saying, who asked you to speak? Unclear boundary. You never realize that fellow doesn't want you to speak. And you're only supposed to quietly listen to that fellow. Okay? And the next one, next root cause is perception differences. Biggest problem. Yeah? One person doesn't get the other person's point of view. And logically, we know that every person sees the same situation in a very different matter, right? There is no truth. There is only perspective. So when we stop arguing about what happened and try to understand what it meant to the other person. Okay? Like I used to have my conflict with late wife. Every time I would do like this, I'm driving or concentrating on something and she would come and talk to me. I would do like this. And she would get really angry. So one day we found out what she was making it mean was, you're trying to shut me up, suppress me. Is that the way to? Can't you tell me politely? I say, hello, I'm driving. How can I tell you I'm going? Get it? So instead of arguing about what happened, if you start to understand what it meant to the other person, what meaning the other person might be giving it. And believe me, this will only happen when you communicate with people with the willingness to understand and accept their point of view. Understanding and accepting another person's point of view does not mean that you have to do what they say, all right? But it certainly will help you to dissolve the conflict. Now, there are four major principles of this heart centered conflict resolution. The first one is called regulate yourself. Now, if you are worked up, if you are agitated, or if you are in a heightened emotional state, elevated state, conversation will get escalated. So before you get into a discussion with regard to conflict, please do a micro reset, guys. First, pause. You know this one very well by now. Pause, breathe, take a couple of deep breaths, relax your shoulders, soften your face, smile inside. Okay? Slow down your voice. When you do all that, naturally smile can appear on your face, but then you might be someone who never smiles, but that's a different story. Okay? And then when you've done this, your energy becomes a safe space. Now you're in the space to slowly get into the conflict handling situation. Principle number 2, make it a rule. Let me first understand the other person before I try to make myself understood. Yeah, seek to understand the other person before trying to make yourself being understood. So, one very good question that you can ask the other person in a conflict is, my dear friend, please help me understand what you felt. I want to really understand what happened from your side and how you felt at that time. Now, the moment people feel that you're trying to understand them, and the moment people feel that they are being understood, they will drop the need to defend. Remember one thing, as long as they are defending and reacting, then you will get into the reaction. They will react, you will react, they will react, you will react, they will react, you will react. No solution can be found out, right? But once they understand, feel safe with you, number one, because you emotionally reset yourself and you became calm, and then you tell them, hey, listen, I really want to understand what you felt. Can you tell me what you felt? Tell me what happened, right? And you're asking this to understand what is the point of view from which they looked at that situation. Principle number 3 is replace blame with ownership. Now, we have a tendency to speak blame, okay? So we'll say things like, you made me feel like that. You never do this. You are always doing like this. Don't do that. You can shift to, when this thing happened, I felt like there was this guy in an office who would come very late, 15, 20 minutes, not very late, but late. And boss was ignoring it. Okay. But one day someone from HR pointed out, sir, this fellow is always coming late. You don't say anything to him. The boss went and, called him, hey, listen, you're always coming late and blah, blah, blah. Now, instead of doing that, now why did he do that anyway? Because he was concerned. He was concerned now things are going out of hand. Things are coming to the notice of HR and this situation needs to be corrected. So the way I had to coach him to do it was, See, when you came at 9:15 instead of 9 o'clock yesterday, day before yesterday, you came at 9:10, right? Things are being noticed by the HR, and I'm getting concerned about it. Is everything okay? All these years you were on time. What happened now? Okay, now what happened? He's expressing concern. He's expressing the need to understand the other person. Okay. Or he can also say, okay, listen, I was expecting that you'll maintain your record of punctuality, and I'm wondering what happened. Yeah. So this kind of ownership, you are taking the ownership. It transforms the resistance of the other person into a connection. All right. And talking about connection, let me come to the fourth principle. And this principle is repair the connection first. The connection, the affinity with the other person. People don't need perfection, they need reassurance. They need to know that, listen, the relationship is all right. My boss doesn't hate me, my husband doesn't hate me. They need reassurance. That's fine. We'll sort this situation out together. We got angry. That's fine. I'm here. We are in this together. I care about you. Let's find a solution together. Let's find a way how to handle it. Connection heals faster than any logic. So let me give you this model of this heart-centered conflict communication module. Okay? It's in 4 steps. Step number 1, pause the reactivity. So if you're angry, you're upset, you're frightened or frustrated, whatever it is, slow down, reset yourself emotionally. You can even say to the other person, okay, listen, relax, let's slow down for a moment. We can talk later if you like. Yeah, because you might have centered yourself, but you now realize that fellow still worked up and agitated. So you can tell them, okay, look, I can see that something is really annoying you or agitating you or whatever it is. Can you calm down, relax a little bit, and then we'll talk about this? Yeah. And after that, step number 2 is always speak from the heart. Okay. There's a different speaking that happens. You can say things like, oh, when you came, I felt that you were really quite upset. And I really want to help fix whatever is going on. Yeah, let's understand what happened, and I'm there for you to fix whatever needs to be fixed. Yeah. So that makes them, drop their defenses a little bit. Now, step number 3, you get in when then you ask them, what happened? And they'll start talking. So step number 3 is listen without interrupting. Let the other person express fully. Yeah, but keep giving them indications that you're listening, like with your body, you can nod, you can say, okay, I hear you. All right. Or you can say, go on. If they stop talking, also you say, okay, is there anything else you'd like to say? Okay. Now, this quiet listening is like a healing for them. The 4th step, very, very important one, is that co-create, the next step. Along with them, you create the next step by saying things like, okay, what can we do differently next time? What agreement can we have right now? How can we avoid this situation in the future? Would you need any help from me to make sure that it doesn't happen in the future? So, when we do this, conflict becomes an opportunity for growth of that relationship and of both people. This is a typical example of how we can make each other stronger, even in a conflict situation. So, I want to do a little process with you. I call it, the moment when we repair a relationship. Now, there are relationships which have got fouled up in the past due to conflicts, etc. How do you repair them? And I know 2 or 3 instances here in our group also where there is, a crack in that relationship. Darar hai, makes you unhappy from within. So close your eyes and relax. And imagine that person is there in front of you. The person with whom you've had some tension, or there is a tension already. Now imagine they are standing in front of you. And try to look beyond the words that they have spoken and that they speak. See their humanity. See that they are also a wonderful, magnificent, extraordinary human being, just like you. And just like you, they also make mistakes. Just like you, they also react. Just like you, they also resist some things in life. That is being human, isn't it? Feel their emotions. Feel their fears. Feel their needs. And in your mind, gently say, I see you. I understand that you are hurting. I understand you're afraid. I understand that you're feeling uncertain. I understand that you're feeling insecure. You're saying gently to you in your mind, okay, not to them. I want us to heal this. And in your imagination, you can see them softening down. And you can do this again and again in your mind with them in order to heal this relationship. So I want to give you some affirmations before we close. Today, I choose connection over ego. Today, I choose understanding over judgment. Today, I choose calmness over reactivity. Today, I choose compassion over conflict. Today, I will resolve with clarity. Today, I will repair with kindness. Today, I will reconnect with strength. So, have a magical, wonderful, heart centered day, all my beautiful friends.